So unit number 1 is introduction to design and design against static loads, in which we will be studying basic principle of machine design, design consideration, fits, tolerances, factor of safety, standards and codes, preferred series and numbers, principal stress and strain, and theories of failure. So from basic principle to preferred series and number, it comes under the introduction to design. And for design against static loads, we will be discussing principal stress and strain and theories of failure. To go ahead, let us start with the subject design. What is design? There are many definitions for this particular subject, machine design. So basically, we can define machine design as machine design is defined as a use of scientific principle, technical information, and imagination in the description of a machine or a mechanical system to perform specific functions with maximum economy and efficiency. So if we go through the definition, there are three important points which I had highlighted. So all are requested to mute yourself. Ritvik Zavle, mute yourself. So what is design? Machine design is defined as the use of scientific principle, technical information, and imagination in the description of machine or a mechanical system to perform specific functions with maximum economy and efficiency. So this is basic definition. You can see different definitions in different textbook. Now in this particular definition, there are three important words which I had highlighted. First one is scientific principle. Machine design is defined as use of scientific principle. Now what is scientific principle? Scientific principle are the principles which you are using from basic science and engineering, like Newton's law, D'Alembert's principle, impulse momentum principle, work energy principle. In thermodynamics, we had studied different laws of gases, then various principles from mathematics and statistics. So all this, whatever you are studying, different principles and whatever you had applied in different subject, in design, we have to use it effectively. So that is use of scientific principles. Technical information means what? In technical information, information regarding the basic elements, like suppose if we want to talk about transmission system. So what are the basic elements in transmission system? Gears, clutch,
number of gears,
shaft, so keys, couplings. So all these things are the basic elements, and all the technical information related to that, right from its geometry, material selection, everything. So we will gather all these things and we will use it effectively. And obviously imagination. So imagination means it's your creativity, how you are going to implement things, how the machine or the equipment you are designing will look like after using all the scientific principle and technical information which you are having. So this is how machine design is use of all these things, scientific principle, technical information, and imagination. For what? In the description of a machine or a mechanical system to perform specific function. Now machine, you know, we had studied machine in theory of machine. What is machine? It is mechanism or combination of mechanisms to perform specific task. So if we talk about a car, engine is a machine, transmission system, that is a machine. So all this, when we club it together, it forms a mechanical system. So using all this data in the description of machine or a mechanical system to perform specific functions with maximum economy and efficiency. So if whatever we are implementing, whatever we are using, we should get maximum benefit out of it. The machine or the equipment should work with maximum efficiency, and it should be economical also. So that is how the design is. So this is just a basic definition of design. All the terms related to that I had explained. Then design is an innovative and highly iterative process. It is innovative process. You can design it. So see, basic principles are there, but implementing these things, you can create your own structure or a machine or a equipment. So it is innovative and it is iterative process. Like when you have a trial, if it fails, we need to go for another version. You may need to change the material, you may need to change the equipments, you may have to vary the dimensions, or you may have to go for different mechanisms. It is just the iteration. You may have to vary the material properties. So by doing all these things, we select some optimum process. So it's a iterative process. There are two traditional methods of design: design by craft evaluation and design by drawing. Now, what is design by craft and design by drawing? So in olden days, the process which was used was design by craft evaluation. Now let us take an example of a bullock cart. So in olden days, there were no engineers who designed it and then manufactured it. So a layman, a craftsman were using certain material, maybe wood, some steel, some rods, and then they are uh, they are designing it and they are building a bullock cart. It may be an individual component as per the requirement, as per the uh, as per the requirement and for the specific use and purpose. So they may not be having the proper design or the sketch on their desk, but through their creativity, through their imagination, they are designing it. They were using the traditional methods and information which were available to them. And then based on the experience, some certain modifications were done. And this was just for a certain equipment. Then in the same way, rowboats were manufactured by traditional method. So all this is designed by craft and evaluation. Nowadays we are going for design by drawing. When whatever concept we are having, whatever idea we are having, we put it on paper. We go through various design steps and process that we will discuss. Finally, we make a final sketch drawing in a form of a 2D sketch, which you have studied. Orthographic projection, its front view, top view, how it looks, and all that, with all the required dimensions and geometrical tolerances. So when we make a drawing and give it for manufacturing, that is called as the design by drawing process, the general process which we are using right now. Now, what is design process? How the design is being done? So it has certain steps. First is, it starts with market survey. You want to design something. Design something means what? Some product should be there in your mind, some equipment, some machine, some idea should be there, some problem should be there which you need to solve. So what you want to design? For that, you will have the market survey. Suppose I decided to design a car. So you will go for a market survey. Which type of cars are available right now? If you want to design a washing machine, then what options are available for washing machine in the market? So market survey is the first step. Then define specifications of the product. So we will just see this in details with a sketch. So design process, broadly 5 steps are there. First one is product specification. So after doing the market survey, like now I had decided to manufacture a car. Now, which type of cars are available in market, their segment, depending on their size, shape, and functionality. Like it may be a nano car, micro car, sedan car, XUV, sports car, like that. So many variants are there. You will decide which you are going to go for, a passenger one or for the public transportation, whatever. So depending on the market survey, you will catch the specifications of the available things, and then you will specify that I want to design so and so car. It should be 4-seater, it should be 5-seater, 7-seater, it should be like this, like that. transmission capacity should be this much. So all these things. So you will have the detailed specification of this thing. Then once it is done, to get that, what will be the different components used in that, and what mechanisms you will be using. Say for braking system, what type of mechanism is there? If it is a bicycle, you can see a simple mechanism where two levers are there. If you pull a cable, they press the brakes. Disc brake system is also there. So many type of systems are there. So you select which mechanism you will be using for each component or each purpose. For transmission system, what will be the components, what are the mechanisms using? For IC engine, which mechanism, what you are using, whether it is 2-cylinder, 4-cylinder, whatever is there. So all the mechanisms and the configurations should be selected. Once it is done, then you prepare a layout of configuration and selection of the joining methods. So if we talk about the transmission system, how the flow will be: engine, then flywheel, then clutch, then gearbox, coupling or clutch, then universal shaft, and then the differential. So this is how the flow will be there. So a detailed layout of configuration using the various mechanisms selected, and how they will be connected, how the power, force or flow will be transmitted. All these things you will put it on the sketch. Once it is done, that means you have the entire system in front of you. The components needed to run that are known. Now you will go for detailed designing of individual components. If it is an engine, then you will go for designing the case. Then you will have to design a cylinder, piston ring, crank rod, gudgeon pin. All the components which are related to the engine will be there, along with the bearings. So individual component designs will be there. If you are selecting bearing, which type of bearing is there, ball bearing is there, roller bearing is there, whether it is for the axial load or the thrust load. So all these things, all the specification and individual design of component will be done. And then once it is done, you are assembling the things, and then final sketch will be prepared. Prepare the assembly and detailed drawing. If required, modify the drawing after testing and prototype, and then the final sketch will be ready. So design process consists of the market survey, define specifications of the product, means what you are going to design, whether it is two-wheeler, four-wheeler. If it is four-wheeler, to be more precise, whether it is sedan car, XUV, passenger or sports car, whatever. Then study alternative mechanisms for products and select proper mechanism. So for the entire system or the entire machine, what different components will be there, then the mechanisms, how it will work, that should be defined. And then prepare general layout of configuration and select joining methods between individual components and product, how the flow will be there, maybe of energy or the forces or motion. Then design individual components, and then prepare assembly and detailed drawings, and modify the drawings after testing the prototype model. Nowadays, generally, see what is prototype model. Prototype model means it's a small version of the component which you are making, and then if you're reducing it by 100 times, the force is also reduced by 100 times. The input fuel will be also having the less cc by 100 times, so like that. So a small prototype is prepared, it is tested. If it is okay, then you go for the final product. But nowadays, instead of prototype, the testing is available on software. You are having CAD, CAM and CAE, these three parts. So CAD means drawing, all the components will be drawn, a 3D model will be prepared. CAM means manufacturing, you can directly import this particular component, generate the NC or CNC program, and you can directly get the component of that particular dimensions. And in CAE means it is analysis software. So what if whatever loading is there, that load you can actually assign it to the component which you have drawn in the CAD by assigning the material, like say ANSYS software. So you can assign the material properties, you can give the constraint that it is fixed at this end, it is having this configuration or the constraints, and then actual load is there or whatever. So you can define it, and then once it is done, just a minute. Once the component is tested, it can directly be manufactured. No need to go for the prototype. In olden days, as these softwares were not available, we need to go for the prototype. But nowadays, everything testing will be also done on the software, so we don't have to go for the prototype. So these are the design steps. Any doubt in whatever we have discussed till now? You can just raise your hand. You unmute yourself and ask me if it is there. Okay, so shall I continue?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, prototype. What is prototype?
Prototype means, see, if you are designing a engine for say 4-cylinder engine, you are designing for passenger car or something, then instead of having that engine or a actual car, you are manufacturing a small model of that, small working model of that. The component sizes will be reduced by say 50 times or 100 times, and a small model will be prepared, but it will be a working model. And whatever loads are given, whatever the forces are coming, so if it is designed for a 100 kg, when I had reduced it by 90% or 100%, instead of 100 kg, I will load 1 kg only, and I will see whether the component is working or not. A small prototype prepared for testing purpose is called as a small model prepared for testing purpose is called as prototype. Instead of designing a actual size component, and if it fails, then again it's a wastage of cost, and it's wastage of time and money. So what we do, a small model with small cost will be developed and designed, and if it is able to sustain the loads, or if it performs the task as per the requirement, by giving the small loads with the ratio, it is okay. That means it is done for testing purpose. That we call it as a prototype, the small model of any component which you are designing. So manufacturing, actually we were manufacturing it, we were preparing it and then testing it. But nowadays, as everything can be tested on the software, if a shaft is there, it is subjected to a load of 100 kg. I can give the constraints on the software itself, that this is the shaft, it is fixed at this end, and if I apply a load of 100 kg, how much it deflects, I can see it actually in the software. So if it fails, I can change the material property, I can change the dimension of the shaft, and when it is okay, I can give for manufacturing. In olden days, when software was not there, we were having the small shaft of same material properties, and instead of 100 kg load, I may be giving 1 kg load, and if it deflects, I will know that whether it will sustain or fail. So it is, prototype is used for testing, a small model used for testing. I hope it is clear. Yes, anything else, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so this was all regarding the design process, how the design starts. Now, so hardly 5 minutes are remaining. I will just brief regarding the design of individual components, and we will discuss this in details tomorrow in next lecture. Now, we know that after fixing up everything, when the configuration is ready, when the entire layout of the machine is ready, we know what will be the mechanism and components or elements in that, means different links which are there. And then we need to design the individual component, individual link separately. It may be a gear, chain, pulley, cam, follower, whatever it may be. So a single element is to be designed. So what are the steps to design the individual component? The steps are, first is specific function of element. So what is the function of that element? Gear is to transmit the power. Coupling is to transmit the power by joining two shafts. So specific function of that element is quoted. Bearing, when two components are in contact with each other and there is movement, to avoid friction, we introduce bearing. So what type of bearing it is, whether it is for axial load or whether it is for thrust load. So function of the element is specified. Then determine forces acting on the element. So I'll just show you the sketch for this. Specify function, that is first step. Say the function is to avoid the friction, so we are using bearing. Function is to tighten or have the connection between two components, we are using fastening. Function is to have the flexible movement, we are using spring. So specify the function, that is first step. Then once it is done, then determine the forces acting on that. So for bearing, whether it is axial load, whether it is torsional, whether it is circular, whatever type of load is there, that we are considering. For spring, whether it is a tensile spring or compression spring or torsional spring. So what type of forces are coming? We need to draw the free body diagram by giving the constraint. It is fixed at this end, it is free at this end, it is having this much torque, or it is having this much force. So free body diagram is determined to get the stresses coming at different areas. Then once it is there, selection of material. So depending on the just a minute. Yes, someone has just sent me the message that are you going to share the PPT? So just listen calmly. I am going to share all the presentations to you. You can refer it later on. Don't be in hurry to just write down the things or take the snapshot. I will share all these presentations. Once your platform is ready in Oxloop, I will share it. But initially, till that, I will share the presentation on WhatsApp group. So don't worry about that. I will send it. Okay, so selection of material. Selection of material depends on whether the material is available. Then manufacturing consideration. When you are going to process it, when you are going to convert it from raw material to the finished product, what type of machining processes will be there, whether it is going to be very costly or whatever. So depending on this, we are going to select. Then properties, whether it is able to take the compressive force, torsional force. Depending on the force determination, you are going to select the material. Then failure criteria, whether the material like spring, it should be elastic. Then when you are having the axial or the tensile load, there should be yielding of the material. Then whether the fracture strength of the material is good or not. So we are going to test the failure criteria of the component. Once it is done, you may have to change the material so that you will get the required strength to withstand the forces which you are done. So all this testing is done, and then once the dimensions are final based on the material properties. So if the strength of the shaft material is more, the diameter may be small. But if the strength is less, you will have to have the shaft of bigger diameter, like that. So based on this, geometry and dimensions will be fixed. Then even operating condition limits may be there, like space considerations and all that. And finally, design modifications depending on the assembly and manufacturing considerations, and then the component is finally done. The dimensions of the components are done. So this is what all we have for today's lecture. Hardly we have less than a minute with us. So again, we'll go forward with this PPT tomorrow. Once it is done, I will share the PPT because depending on your questions and doubts, I may have to edit it, I may have to add some contents. So once I had delivered the lecture, and if you are not having any doubt, I will share this presentation